Coming up on Mountain News this morning, Kentucky officials say it is a big problem that often goes unnoticed. More than 1 in 6 senior citizens go hungry.
And we are in for a major temperature change this week, and that means it's time to prepare our vehicles for the winter weather.
Plus, with less than 1 week before the election, Governor Matt Bevin was on hand yesterday in Frankfort to receive an award.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. It is 6:02. I'm Will Puckett.
And I'm Madison Pergram.
Thank you for tuning into Mountain News This Morning on this Halloween. And Madison, do you have any candy stashed away somewhere to celebrate the occasion today?
I don't think I do.
All right, I might have to swing by Food City before I head on home to get my fix of candy, because I can't go trick-or-treating. But you want to know who's a big kid? Brandon. He is in the Weather Center. Brandon, what should people expect today, as some are going to be taking their kids out trick-or-treating?
Yeah, it's going to be hopefully drier by the time we get to trick-or-treat time, but models are still kind of split on that. We'll just have to see how it plays out in real time. But this morning in real time, the rain is coming down. Live pinpoint Doppler radar. We zoom in a little bit closer on the areas getting affected. It's basically the entire western half of the region right now. So again, just be careful if you're traveling through Breathitt County, through Clay County, through Knox County, down into the I-75 corridor. So rain down that way, wet roads, and low visibility. Jacksboro down to 2.5 miles, London at 4, Williamsburg at 7. So just take it easy out there this morning. You can see temperatures already dropping in the western half of the state. 59 in Louisville, but 60 still hanging out here. 68 in Logan. Now the warm spot temperatures are actually going to go up for a little while. May get close to 70 in spots, even with the rain. But after that, once the front gets here, it's going to be bye-bye temperatures, and they're going to fall quickly into the afternoon and evening hours. We'll talk more about that drop and a freeze warning that's going to be in effect coming up here in just a little bit. Will?
All righty, Brandon, thank you. Well, we are in for a major temperature change this week, as Brandon has mentioned, and that means it's time to winterize our cars. There are certain things that need to be checked on to make sure our cars run safely, along with checking your battery and doing other maintenance for your car before the winter months. AAA says it is equally important to prepare an emergency kit, just in case you get stuck along the side of the road this winter.
That can be something as simple as having blankets, water, things that, you know, if you were in an accident and subjected to several hours on the side of the road, that you could use.
On average, in Hazard, we do not see our first measurable snowfall until the end of November. I've yet to see that average come through.
Well, state officials hosted a conversation about senior hunger issues yesterday in Frankfort, hoping to make some changes to a system that leave many without food.
WKYT's Chelsea Jones tells us more.
How many of us said?
It's a problem that often goes unnoticed. The number of senior citizens living without enough to eat.
Unfortunately, in Kentucky, 1 in 6 seniors does not have access to affordable, nutritious food.
Perhaps the first step to solving this problem is connecting seniors with the resources available. That's why leaders met in Frankfort for the first ever Senior Hunger Summit.
We have a great social services and nonprofit network. What we're not doing is communicating. If this church has a food pantry, well, how can we get that food pantry connected with this senior center?
Department for Aging and Independent Living Commissioner Shannon Gadd says so many seniors rely entirely on Social Security, which hasn't kept up with the cost of living.
And you're talking around $700 a month to pay for rent, to pay for prescriptions, medical care.
Leaving very little money for food.
I wasn't able to cook.
Living with a grandchild is actually a risk factor for hunger, and in my opinion, that just shouldn't be.
Restaurant owners, farmers, business leaders, and legislators sat in the audience listening to ways they can be a part of the solution. But Gadd says you can help too.
Look at your landscape in your community. What food banks do you have? What social services do you have?
She says senior centers often need help with food donations and preparing meals. In Frankfort, Chelsea Jones, WKYT.
This summit is the first of its kind in the Commonwealth. The Department of Aging and Independent Living hopes to connect community partners in order to address the issues of hunger and food insecurity.
And Goodwill hosted a ribbon cutting in downtown Pikeville yesterday for its 5th Center for Education and Employment. The center, funded by sales from Goodwill thrift stores, is a career coaching program that offers soft skills and aims at increasing employment numbers in Kentucky. Career coaches work at the hub to connect local job seekers with job opportunities. COO Rena Sharp says there is a misconception that anyone who is unemployed in today's workforce has chosen not to work.
And we know that that's not true. We serve thousands and thousands of individuals through our services every day throughout Kentucky. And what we know is there's many people that are not working because they can't get a job. And many times that's because of barriers in their background.
The center is located in the Uniplex building on Trivet Drive, and classes begin next Thursday.
2 recent announcements in Floyd County mean hundreds of jobs for the region. 200 jobs are on the horizon for the recently announced Southeast State Correctional Complex in Wheelwright. And this week, Teleworks USA partnered with Floyd County to announce 300 work-at-home jobs. More than 900 applications have already come in for the prison openings. A job fair will be held for the Teleworks jobs in the Floyd County Fiscal Courtroom on November 13th.
And in September, it was announced that Perry County would be getting 300 jobs as Sykes and Intuit would be joining forces. Yesterday in Perry County, Commissioner of Local Government Sandra Donahue made a $2 million grant announcement that would help advance this project. Perry County Judge Executive Scott Alexander was happy to hear the news.
The environment in which you work, we know today, is huge. People want good environments, neat places to work in. And so we're creating an attractive building for people to work in. And we feel like that will help with the retention and keeping people here.
Officials say the money will help with the transition of Intuit coming into the area.
Meanwhile, a big day Saturday for a project that will bring even more jobs to Hazard. A groundbreaking is scheduled for the new Dashcore plant. The new aluminum extrusion plant is set to open in the Coalfields Industrial Park in the next few months. It will eventually employ close to 250 people.
And UPS is hiring here in the Commonwealth. The company is holding job fairs later this week. The company plans to hire 100,000 seasonal employees nationwide. The Kentucky fairs will be in Louisville, Walton, and Lexington on Friday at the company facilities in each city.
With less than 1 week before the election, Governor Matt Bevin was on hand yesterday in Frankfort to receive an award.
The governor received the National Association for Gun Rights 50 Caliber Freedom Award.
Victor Puente explains the significance of the award.
The award given to Governor Matt Bevin earlier today came from the president of the National Association for Gun Rights. They were honoring him and State Representative Savannah Maddox for the passage of Senate Bill 150. Which allowed gun owners to carry concealed without a permit.
Rarely do we actually get a member of leadership, much less a governor, stand up and say, not only am I willing to do it, but I want to try and pass this legislation.
Bevin said for him the decision wasn't a political one.
This is literally representative of the values of the people of Kentucky.
Critics of the law, including some gun store owners, had said they were worried the removal of the requirement for training could lead to dangerous situations. Bevin said he believed gun owners should take it upon themselves to seek out that training.
It is incumbent upon those of us as responsible gun owners to make sure that we understand how to handle any firearms that we are in possession of.
After that presentation, the governor took a few questions, including one about red flag laws. That's a law that would allow a judge to order the removal of firearms from a person who may present a danger to themselves or others. It's a move the governor says he wouldn't support.
It is a slippery slope down which we do not need to go. Our rights are very well defended by the Constitution already, and I think we should preserve that.
Bevin's opponent in the November election for governor, Andy Beshear, has said he would support red flag laws. Bevin thinks they go too far against individual liberties.
Most of them will, somewhere in their answer, talk about the need to look out for people who have behavioral health issues. I agree with that completely. This is not the way in which that should be done.
In Frankfort, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Governor Matt Bevin met with one Boyd County teacher yesterday in Frankfort. After inviting her to speak about issues she and other teachers have had with his administration in public education. Missy Salyers is one of the thousands who have protested decisions regarding pension and public education. Wednesday's meeting focused on those issues and what she sees every day in an Eastern Kentucky classroom.
And I think he listened to what I had to say, and I feel that that now there's an open line of communication between us, and you know, when you have that, things can only get better when you have communication and respect.
There is no substitute for a frank, honest conversation. And when I met Missy, I was just struck by her sincerity, her passion, and it was clear to me that hers is a voice that needs to be more widely heard.
Missy says she did this for the students of Kentucky. She has not forgotten the past, but felt saying no to this meeting would have meant putting politics before her students.
Well, both Vice President Mike Pence and President Donald J. Trump will be in the Bluegrass in the coming days. Tomorrow, the Vice President will visit Laurel and Whitley counties. He will arrive at the London Corbin Airport around noon. The main public event, is set for 3:15 at the Laurel London Optimist Club. Then on Monday night at 7 p.m., President Trump will host a rally at Rupp Arena in Lexington. We will have coverage of both on WYMT and WYMT.com.
Forecast on this Halloween morning, kind of more of a trick than a treat. Let's take a look and see what's going on live pinpoint Doppler radar. Lots of rain starting to get its act together again in western Kentucky. That will move east. We're also seeing some rain here in our area. Visibility taking a hit there. So in the areas seeing rain, so be careful out there this morning. Wet roads as well, especially with some of those leaves on the roads, make it feel almost like driving on ice in some areas if it's really wet. Temperature is warm this morning and actually going to go up a little bit until we get later into the day. 61 Williamsburg, 68 in Logan. Wind speeds also picking up out of the southwest, could gust as high as 40 miles an hour at times based on some of our model data. Headlines: a soggy Halloween, a freeze warning in effect for the entire region tonight. We'll talk about that here in a little bit, and a sunny but cold weekend ahead. Madison?
Thank you, Brandon, and thank you for joining Mountain News this morning.
More news is on the way.
Most candidates on the statewide Democratic ticket made their way across eastern Kentucky yesterday.
And Secretary of State Allison Lundergan Grimes is predicting next week's voter turnout. We'll have those details on that straight ahead.